Good morning, afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Toothers. And this is just a little short clip um, in sort of watching the chaos. Hey, Doug, the Snow White debacle, I'm going to say. They have attacked people, like Harry Shearer, the one of the many voices on The Simpsons, because he played a black man. There's some other ones that because he was playing another, people have gone absolutely bonkers. Now, I've thought that I've known that I've been a crazy human being for a long time. Hey, Neil, how are you? I'm from Ireland. Good to see you. You're just a new subscriber. Blessings to you, my friend in Ireland. I've known folks from Ireland, not currently, but anyway, would always wanted to go there. So thank you, and hope everything is well in your area. Hey, Barry, how are you? But anyway, this is, I only decided to do this like 5 minutes ago. So, but anyway, in this Blanco, the Spanish word for white, Sno-Blanco, people are upset because of what Disney did. Now, it's a fairy tale. Let's get this straight before we go any farther about what anybody's saying about it. It's a fairy tale. It's a story. Someone came up with this story about Snow White. And then Disney, however, ended up doing the thing. And are you kidding me? I mean, are you serious that people have nothing better to do? Now, here's the thing that those folks have talking about. Hey, Susie Q, is that one of the things they're upset about in the story, get this, is because the prince kissed her without her permission. Okay. The prince kissed her without permission. She didn't give him permission to kiss her. What? Now, if you know the story, the only way that she can live is if she is kissed, right? So these folks have gone bonkers past bonkers. I'm like, but it's a big news story. And in a way it ought to be, because it shows the chaos that whoever that side is, whoever them people are, hey, Chloe, they have gone absolutely bonkers. And instead of getting pissed off of that, we should all sit around and go, do you see what them idiots are doing? Hey, Jody, how are you? Did you get my message about the staffs? Did you get that? Thinking about doing a video on that. Hey, Ian, how are you? But so I'm hoping that all of you that see whatever it is in the news about Snow White, and that instead of getting mad, you'll point and laugh, okay? Because this is ridiculous. Whoever has brought this up, I mean, take any story from the past, and oh my goodness, but because it's Walt Disney and because they put this thing and blah blah blah, the updated Snow White ride in Disneyland. And first of all, if you understand Disney and Disneyland, then you should just not go there, because they're thinking, okay, let's talk about the 7 dwarves that live with a single girl. Okay. Oh, but but the prince came and kissed her without her permission. So, these, can you imagine being so bored that that's the only thing that you can come up with? I mean, imagine that. Imagine the people that are out there who are, hey, Witch Moon, who are, trying to live every day as good as they possibly can and be positive in life. And, this isn't political correctness. This is political stupidness. We have, I agree with you now. Political correctness masks and also elevates the race war. I agree. Not between white and black, male and female. Most people are very dumb. Yep. She's saying with him before. I just texted. But anyway, so this is a short video. I got some things to do later on, and it's been overcast and halfway cloudy, and not halfway cloudy, all cloudy, and some rain showers in the area. And I've been a little remiss in going outside and playing in the wet grass and so forth. Anyway, but I just thought about this, and I was like, they have attacked people for using their voices, like in The Simpsons, and Harry Shearer is, I have loved Harry Shearer for his portrayal in many different movies and things. And, I think he's a great guy. And I've never met him, but that's not the point. It seems like his political views are to look at what is stupid from both sides, people who overreact to this. And you could say, well, Hawkeye, you're overreacting to this. No, I'm not. My overreaction was about 20 minutes ago. That was my overreaction when I was like, well, one of these, and, let your mind run crazy. But this idea that because Snow White, and this is like one of the primary things, is that she was kissed without her permission. Are you serious? It's a fairy tale. In this fairy tale world, they have to attack a fairy tale. They're gonna, they've been attacking everything else. There is, I can't remember which one it is, but they want to put a black woman in the lead for, this show, right? And there are people who are going, no. Because, a tale from 500 years ago when, I'm sorry, but white people in Europe were the dominant, race of folk. They want to put a black girl into a role that is just like non-existent. So let's create, if you want a black, and I'm not against black folk being in roles. What I'm against is taking obviously a story that's many years old, that is, no offense to anybody, there's a white character in it, Snow White. So you want to remake Snow White to Dirty Brown or Dirt Brown, because, well, is she snow, and a lot of times snow is white. Some of the plastic stuff looks weird, and some of it's turned out yellow, especially when you pee on it. But the idea that everything must change because it must accept racial whatever, then make up a new story. Make up something new. Make up something that isn't, a Grimm's fairy tale. Oh, well, Hansel and Gretel were black people. Oh, really? Living in the forest back in those. Come on, it's not about black or white. It's about the story. So, but everybody wants to change everything for race or religion or some other kind of cultural thing. And I'm sorry, but it's just plain stupid. Come on, we have to agree. This is stupid. I love black folk. I've said in the past, I've had many very dear friends and families that are black. And, I would be the only white person there. And it's like, I get it. I understand, but to change things that really don't need change, well, it's Snow White. Well, then change the name of the story. It's Dirty Brown or, Dirt Brown. What else is brown? Well, if you want to say, well, the Chinese are yellow. Well, okay, so it's yellow flower. This is stupid, beyond stupid. Okay. And hopefully all of you all, hey, Steve, I didn't understand one of your comments, by the way, Steve, but anyway, not the place to discuss it. But in this, I just want to tell everybody that if looking at this stuff, it should make you angry because they're being idiots. But at the same time, we need to use our powers of intuition and go, all right, this pisses me off, but wait a minute, what are they doing? They're trying to create chaos and mayhem. I mean, it's Pinky in the Brain. This is Pinky in the Brain in real life. What are we going to try to do tomorrow, Brain? We're going to try to take over the world. So we have to look at this as insanity, but what is their purpose? I talked about that last night. What about purpose and the power? The power that they seem to have is to piss people off and to create disharmony, to create chaos, and to create conflict. So, but with that said, so the first thing we do is we get pissed off. I'm here to tell you, I was pissed off for 5 minutes. But then the more I looked at it and read a couple of different news items, the more I started to laugh and giggle and snicker and come up with all this stuff. Now, if you want to change the story, then write a new one. But to change the story simply to become politically correct is the wrong way to do it. There is so much imagination in this world. Come up with your own fairy tales. And I mean that honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Create new stories. Okay, so maybe it's based on the tale of Snow White. But then put it, if you want black actors in it or whatever, I don't have a problem with that. But use a setting that makes sense, put it in Africa or put it at somewhere else but oh, well, this is a fairy tale that took place up in the highlands of Switzerland when back in the day there weren't any people of color other than white, unless they were a slave. So, I'm not saying that what they did in the ancient times was right, but I'm not here to judge that. It's the past. It's a story. It's a fairy tale. And these people who are picking on a fairy tale should explain to all of you that their reasoning for this is a fairy tale notion. That's my take on this. You're going to pick on a fairy tale, then you must have fairy tale notions. That everything in your life is a fairy tale and we can change it all because, well, he kissed her without her permission. Oh, are you serious? The whole plot of this story was the handsome prince, even if he was, so why not? Okay, I'm against the handsome thing. So, I never got a lead role. I was never the handsome dude in the play or the story. So why not, some ugly dude that loves her just as much, but they know it's always the handsome prince. It's always so I would love to change some of these stories, but then it wouldn't be Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it would be another story. Create your own stories with your own characters. That's what should happen. Say, look, this is our version of Black Cinderella. Okay, I got it. But don't put it in a medieval, in the middle of white country. Don't use the setting that's appropriate. That's all I'm saying. I'm all for you doing, these folks coming up with things and, with using different cultures and so forth. I'm all for it. But to pick on a fairy tale, then then all of us should say, well, I must live in a fairy tale world because these people have got something squirrely in their head. In their realm, the fairy tale should be changed. In their world, it is a fairy tale world. And so they can change everything to fit their needs or whatever. That's about it. It's 6:24. I missed the 6:20. So before I go, don't forget, David, the Disney and Warner's and Looney Tunes was based on racism. I get it. I know. I understand all that. But that's not my point. If what is past, but trying to change this and bring it up as, oh, well, it's all, sure, some of this was based on racism. Some of this back in the day, There weren't any. I've been to towns in the Midwest where there simply aren't any black people that live in the town. They don't live there. Now, does that mean that because there are all white people that live in these communities that they hate black people? No, it's that the black folks just don't live in that community. That's all. You know, I won't say what state, but there were several towns that I was in, and there's one or two black people in the whole county. And for whatever reason, and it's not that the people are racist, the black folk just don't live there. So should we condemn white people because black people don't live in a particular area or don't particularly go with and it's not just about the black folk, it's about any other race other than white, okay? That everybody's being picked on. And I think it's just a shame. We need to come together as brothers and sisters. We need to hold hands. Thank you, Witch. I was raised around the Amish, and I was raised around Catholics. That was weird. But anyway, understand there are some Mennonite communities around here, and I much deeply respect the Mennonite community. Now, there are things that go on in religions that a lot of us don't know about, but that's not the point. The outward sign of the Mennonites has always been a loving and caring, and the people that I've met have always been honest, and but anyway, that's my 10 cents on that. But anyway, I didn't want to make this a long I was raised in the garden. Imagine it reversed. Kelsey Grammer stars as Kunta Kinte in the remake of Roots. Thank you very much. I mean, it's so thank you, Ian. That's my part. I'm Catholic and also a Satanist. I'm also pagan and a Gnostic. Okay, I am none of the above. But so anyway, as the craziness goes up, hey Jeff, how are you? As the craziness goes up, we need to tell people kindly how we feel. Like, hey, does that really offend you? Well, I'm sorry, but I think it's just silly. And don't go on about it, but voice your opinion in a kind way. We just need to tell folks that we think this is silly. We think it borders on, manic stupidity. But let's be kind about this, okay? We think this is stupid. Let's just leave it at that. Somebody ask your opinion. This was a stupid attack on a fairy tale. Well, what do you think about this and the that? It's a stupid attack on a fairy tale. And whatever it is, these people need attention. They're craving attention for whatever it is that is going on. It's the past. It's like I don't know, but Ian made a good point. It would be like Kelsey Grammer, doing the remake of Roots as Kunta Kinte or something. It is that silly. But I gotta say that the white folks don't take a black story and put white characters in it. There are characters and stories that I have been watching for a while now where, God bless you, women, okay? But they're putting the warrior women into everything. Well, it's the, Xena and all that, and that's fine. But it seems like women can't be heard. I mean, in the stories, women can't be heard unless there's some kind of warrior-esque princess thingy that can kick all men's ass and save the day. I'm not saying that women aren't strong. I've met some very strong, manly women, okay? And I mean that with respect, but this idea that we have to change all the stories to include this warrior princess who's stronger than the male, I just gotta say, seriously? I mean, everything has got to have, now it's not just a female, now it has to be a black female who is the warrior princess, who is the strong one. I'm just saying. I understand what these folks are up to, but it's just silliness, in my opinion. Okay. Yes, there are strong women. Yes, there are women who fought in wars. And I watched a movie recently about the Russian tank commandos and commanders and so forth. And they had women tank commanders and artillery personnel from the Russian side of this. It was a Russian story. I had to read the thing, but it was a very good movie. And about how the women stood side by side with their men, not necessarily their husbands, but some of them were their lovers, and but that they participated in that. In the South Pacific, the women and the nurses were in great danger a lot of the times. And they were there to take care of the wounded servicemen, regardless of their color. So, but this idea that we must change the political viewpoint of the whole planet. And again, I want you to understand, I'm not against, females being the warrioress or the black females or any other color, that's not my point. But we've taken the women out of the role of being feminine, which I like feminine women. I bow and curtsy and open the door. And, I think there's something special about that. But one says, get away from me. You don't have to open the fucking door for me. I can do it myself. Oh, well, we're going to get along just fine here. Let me be a gentleman. I hate men and blah, blah, blah. Then walk home, So, but this idea that what is their purpose behind this? To create confusion, to create more division between us, to put, well, the man had no right to kiss her. It's part of the story. He's got to kiss her or she's going to die. All the poor little 7 dwarves are sitting around going, she's going to die. Kiss her for God's sakes, you don't have to use your tongue, but you got to kiss her, But oh my God. So anyway, this is a little bit of a tirade on this. Doug says they want to make James Bond movies where James Bond is black, and I've heard them talk about Jane Bond. Exactly, and I'm not against it. I'm not, but to stay true to the story, I'm all about the story. Then make another story. That's all. If you want to make a story about Jane Bond, then she's not 007 then. She's 009 or, what about Agent 99 on Get Smart, But the idea, though, that you've got to change the character that has been established sometimes for centuries because you want to put a black person or and I mean this with respect, a Chicano into the mix or something. Yeah, right, Susie. That's part of the deal. He has to kiss the girl. But the people that are bitching about this are saying, "Oh, but she didn't give him permission. She's dying." Okay, So life or death, the kiss of life. Somebody's passed out on the road and they're not breathing, and I give them mouth to mouth and say, "Well, you didn't have permission to do that to save somebody's life." It's that silly, in my opinion. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here and give a little 2 cents on this. And say, listen, please don't get caught up in the craziness like I obviously am, because I had to make a video about it. I'm saying, listen, the chaos that they're trying to present you, there's more coming. They have got more things planned that are going to drive us normal people crazy if we let them. And I say we just raise our hand and go, oh, there's another one of those crazy antics. Whoever they are, they're throwing another whammy into the machine. Okay, I'm stealing kisses if I can. Probably the only kiss I can get. Look out, Julie. But anyway, smoochy smooch, everybody. But anyway, it's just what used to be normal in some families, households, and stuff is now being considered. Like in my family, they would say, for whatever reason, we kissed each other on the lips. Oh, but that was somehow sexual. And that just wasn't true in our family. But they say, well, if your family members kiss each other on the lips, that is a sign of sexuality and deviant behavior within the family. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Our family didn't have any of that. And we talked about it, but no, and there wasn't. There just wasn't. But this idea that, well, should kiss on the cheek. Your father or mother should never kiss you on the lips. But a kiss is what I'm just saying. So what was acceptable by lots of people in different families and cultures and whatever, not that our family was cultured in any way, but that it was a human nature thing to like kiss your family, to kiss your brother, kiss your sister, whatever, kiss your mom and daddy, on the forehead, on the cheek, on the lips, or whatever. It was a kiss. Oh, but now other people want to throw that in there. Well, if your father kissed you on the lips, that he had some kind of sexual deviant behavior that he wanted to express with you. No, he didn't. But that's what people have told me. And I'm like, okay. So, but with that, it's gone on 5 or 6 minutes longer than I had anticipated. But anyway, so I'm going to give a shameless plug. I'm going to be on with Andromeda 7 tonight with Scotty and some other folk. I think Robert V. I'm sorry, but I said that last I did. Robert says, well, I'm going to be on with you. And I was like, so he's the other folk. But anyway, I don't know who else is on the panel, but tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, kiss them anywhere but on the butt, right? And I've done a lot of ass kissing in my lifetime trying to get by, but the idea, though, that let's just understand that this is chaos. You just can't fix stupid, and whatever this is, this is, pick something that's current and discuss it, not a fairy tale. Kiss, find something that is honestly relative, they're going to, here's the thing. They would want to change Snow White. Snow is white. So the story goes, Cinderella, well, she was this maiden and a slave. And, now she's a black slave. Cinderella is now a black girl. And now she's, you don't think a black woman showing up at a ball back in those days wouldn't have created some kind of, something? I'm just saying, let's keep the historical, whether we like the history or not. Okay, but we're going to change history. Instead of Cinderella being white, we're going to make her a black girl. Make a new story, okay? I think they did like Cinderfella or something. Anyway, that was with Jerry Lewis back in the day. So make something that that is relative to your race. I don't have any problems with the warrior thing, but to take over, like men are just, I'm sorry, but somebody did a video yesterday or the day before about the pussification of men. And I got to say that it's true. There's so many men that aren't men anymore. They're wimpy, sprinkly little, I don't know who these folks are, because for whatever reason, now there seems to be a need or a necessity on some level for female dominated stuff. And I'm just like, I am woman, hear me roar. Okay, I get it. I'm all for you, sisters. Okay, I am. But for society to try to change everything so that the woman is the dominant factor in this, why should anybody be the dominant factor? I'm just saying. Get Smart had Agent 99. She was the smart one of the group, So, I Dream of Jeannie. So there's always been, the crazy astronaut, and then there's the genie. So to me, women have always played a significant role. all throughout television and so forth. I mean, I was watching a movie, Silverado, the other day with Kevin Kline and, some other folks in it. But anyway, and here's this little short red-haired lady, and I can't remember her name, but she was in some of the Spy Kids movies as the little short person who does their costumes and stuff. I wish I could remember her name. But she's a voice actress now, probably because of her age. But in that, back in the day, here was this little short red-haired woman, not particularly beautiful, that played a significant role in a Western movie, and she was tough as nails as a female. What about Miss Kitty in Gunsmoke? She was a very powerful woman, and all of the people, that had heard about Miss Kitty, and they wouldn't go into her place. I mean, so there's all of these things that women, as women, are strong. So I think it's always been there. But whoever is in charge of the political insanity is that, well, Miss Kitty, she was a barmaid. Yeah, but she owned the damn thing. Nobody told her what to do. And so isn't that a strong woman? So for 20 years on television, here is Amanda Blake playing Miss Kitty as a strong, independent woman in the West. Oh, but that don't count. You know what I mean? No, she has to be a warrioress. She's got to have guns ablazing. She's got to have all these other things in order for her to, let's think about this, take over the male role. When there were all these strong women who were women who could still shoot, and many of them just as good or better than some men. But why do we have to put them in the male role? Can we not show them as strong women in their own roles? I'm all for it. It's been going on. So why the change? I don't have an answer. I'm just posing that. Ian says, my big sister has an old Cinderella book where there were 13 fairies, not 3, and one wasn't invited. It signified the change from 13 to 12, matriarchal supplanted by patriarchy. Now, as a storyteller and a writer of stories, I have to ask this question. Is that true? Was that really the motivation? Or, as I have stated before, is somebody else looking at it going, oh, they changed that, and this is the reason? It could have just been changed. I know I've had stories that when I told puppet stories, I would tell it one way before in front of a certain group and another way. I'm not saying that's, Ian, that you're wrong about that. But I'm saying as a storyteller and a writer and creator of stories, I have changed stories and people go, well, that's not the way I heard it the last time. Well, what'd you do? Did you change it because, there were 13 and now there's 12 and it's because of the lunar moon? The answer is I just changed it. I just felt like it. So we have to take some of these things into consideration. What we view something now and someone said, well, they must have changed that because of this. Maybe they just changed it. Okay. I'm just saying. We have to keep, oh, well, but the 13 to the 12, there's this and all right, okay. Maybe that's true, or maybe it just got changed. It could be that simple. So we should not read more into certain things than are already there, like this. Well, the women are trying to take over the world and this and blah, 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 and all the things about the Snow White and she got kissed without permission. I'm sorry, I don't care if you're the biggest, ugliest man, woman, or whatever. If I'm dying and you have to give, and I need mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, kiss me, okay? I will wipe it off and use mouthwash later. Kiss me, for God's sakes. Give me, I'm just saying. But anyway, so, but not to go on with this, but Mary Wins, how are you? Yeah. Now, I told you the aim is to make society genderless. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. But however you want to look at the situation, just take a step back before you get all right. It's okay. Get riled up for a few minutes and then calm yourself down and go, okay, I'm not playing into this chaos. This is stupid. This is silly. We can talk about it here. We're amongst friends. But in the long run of things, we just have to to me, I just shake my head and go, golly, what's next? I mean, they stopped the release of Dumbo because there were, crows who represented the black people. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it's this or that. Well, if they were white doves hanging on the thing singing to Dumbo. Um, well, I've seen a horse, I've seen a horse fly. I've seen a house fly, but I'll be danged if I've seen an elephant fly. I believe I've seen about everything until I see an elephant fly. So anyway, Brandy, the Roman Catholic Church made a proclamation of their powers by changing the dates, times, and calendar. Yes, they absolutely did. They absolutely did. And I've left the Catholic Church a long time ago, and I've talked about secrets and stuff from the Vatican. So if the truth ever really comes out about what the Vatican's been up to and the things they've been hiding, the Catholics will quit that religion. I'm just saying. But anyway. And many of the native peoples were known by the mother, not by the father. Matriarchal society. I absolutely. Many of the South Pacific Islanders and so forth was a matriarchal kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with it because to me, that says women are the child bearers. Men can't do it no matter what they do and no matter how hard they try. So to me, that makes women special. But now there are so many women that I don't want to have kids. I don't want to. I'm not getting impregnated. Keep a man away. Keep his sperm. Oh God, the things that I have heard, and maybe you too. But here's the deal. Let's keep our head about this. Okay, that's it. Let's keep our head about it. But we do need to tell people we think this is silly. And we think the whole uppity thing in folks and the LGBTQ RSP are, please, I respect you all, but stop forcing me to respect you. That says, if you're making me respect you, then that's not respect, that's fear. And I'm sorry, I don't fear you. I fear your tiny little brains and what you might come up with next, but, does anybody respect an old hermit with long hair, some old hippie dude? No. He's an old crazy man and, all right. Hey, Lady Court, how are you? Just got here. Catholic Board of London, Ontario. Pope said in Latin, God on earth. God never left the earth, by the way, but anyway. Yeah, Brandy. And you know what? There are many priests that I have known who will not read the Gospel of Paul. They just won't. Even back in the day, the Gospel of Paul was like, he's not really an apostle here. He made himself one, and then there were those priests who were like, Paul, everything has to do with Paul. And so, but even within the, quote, the hierarchy of the Catholic Church, quote, St. Paul ain't really a saint. He's like an infiltrator to some of what I would consider the true Catholic priests who were looked at it and said, I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. And many of them left the priesthood. There was a priest from Tampa Catholic who, after I graduated, I met him on the beach one night while I was doing acid and he was smoking weed. And we walked along the beach and I asked him all kinds of questions. And, and he was like, I left the priesthood because of all of the gayness. And I left the priesthood because of all the false proclamations. I left the priesthood because, there's all this focus on a saint that, they're like, who put this guy in the Bible in the first place? Meaning Paul. So I'm just saying, even among the Catholics who were priests and nuns were like, yeah, we just, We don't include Paul. He was maybe a nice guy and all that kind of stuff. But anyway. Dominic, hey, how are you? There, Lady Court. Yeah, everyone's welcome here. Paul is like Thomas of the Gnostics. Okay. I've read the Gnostics, but I can't make a comment, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, there are certain things that Paul has said and that make sense. Don't get me wrong. But the idea that he was one of the, the apostles, I don't agree with. If you want to have a book of Paul, okay, but then don't make it Saint Paul. You know what I mean? So, and don't make it one of the quote, the Gospels, the true word of God kind of. Nah, let's not go there. So, but anyway, that's it. Oh, there's a lot of stuff that's in the catacombs underneath the Vatican City. And for those of you who are, maybe too young to remember who Father Malachi Martin was, he wrote a bunch of books. He used to be on the radio with, Art Bell back in the day, talking about the nasty things that the Catholic Church and the Vatican and so forth has known and for years and stuff and have done and still doing. The Pope don't run the world at the moment, my dear Brandy. They have taken that away from him because they have taken away one of his rings. People are not bowing down to kiss his ring. There are certain people that refuse, and also the Pope won't let him. And he's a fake Pope, by the way. He is the mayor of Rome. He's the mayor of the Vatican. He's not really the Pope because the other guy's still alive. So, but anyway, but there's, and having been Catholic and having studied this extensively, I'm just here to tell you that, he ain't the Pope. He just isn't. Okay. And for those folks who don't really understand they're Catholic or they're, he's a Jesuit. The Roman Catholic Church threw the Jesuits out of the church 250 years ago or more, threw them out. And now there is a Jesuit as, quote, the Pope. Not possible. Okay. So there's a lot of hanky panky going on. Irish priest, I remembered him well, an expert on exorcism. His books are essential. He grew up 150 miles from me. You know what? I wish that I had had the opportunity to shake that man's hand. And, he died under mysterious circumstances, but that's not Neil, is it? It's Niall Parkinson. I want to pronounce your name right. I'm very, particular about pronouncing things right if I can, but it looks like Niall and not Neil. But anyway, but yes, Malachi Martin, Irish priest, yes, and loved by lots of people. Okay. There were those in the church who was like, well, he's a traitor. He's speaking blasphemy. And then there were those who were going, yeah, he's talking about a lot of stuff, which are true. And he's really bringing out stuff about the Vatican, which is true. They wouldn't agree with him out loud, but they would, on an aside note, they'd go, yeah, he's talking the truth here. But because back in those days, the Pope was still the Pope. I mean, what about John Paul I? He was in office for 33 days and then woke up dead. Think about it. 33 days. Why do you think all the mobsters always go to the Father to find someone? They have their own fingers and killers everywhere. Yeah. Nile, like the river in Egypt. I got you. My point to that, Nile, is simply It was 33 days. How he died, what was the circumstances, not really sure. There's a lot of different things. Crushed his heart, poison. The bottom line is 33 days later, the guy is dead. 33, the Masons. I'm just going to leave it at that. The blue balloon is relevant to me. Do you know, or just coincident? Blue balloon? But anyway, so let me get off of here. I don't want to keep you all. This was not supposed to be a long, a long, drawn out, video. But just let's look at the stuff and just go. One thing we should not do. I'm just saying, but it's my personal opinion, is antagonize these folks. Let's not go poking our finger in their eye. Okay. We can look at them and go, I just think your idea about this is silly. Leave it at that. But don't go, well, you people are, and don't go poking your finger. Okay. We should not poke our finger at these folks because I don't know what other crazy stuff they're coming up with. And let me tell you, write this down in your journal. Is something else is on its way. There's going to be something else. They're going to pick on somebody else, some other thing. I mean, they picked on Dr. Seuss. They picked on the Muppets. They picked on Disney. They picked on the actors, the voice actors. Come on now, on The Simpsons. Just keep an eye out, my friends. I love you all. I do. Susie Q, Niall, thank you. Yes, Malachi knew his enemy. Absolutely. And it's good to meet you. Here, handshake across the waters. Cosmic hugs, everybody. Cheers, everybody. Thank you, Witch Moon. We love you too. The Masons had to study astrology. It's all related. I agree, Brandy. That was not a mistake that all the separated churches, denominations are working to divide. Yep. And what I'm trying to do with this channel and with you all is bring us together spiritually, regardless of our background, regardless of, let's look at the spirit of things. And so that's my job here, to bring us together spiritually without any kind of religion or dogma. Let's stick with the one rule: do no harm to anything. If we can follow that simple rule to do no harm, it covers everything. So my friends, till later, if you have the time, where I'll be on live with on Andromeda 7 tonight at 9 o'clock. And don't know if I'll be on later after that or not, but I just wanted to get on here and say I love you all very much. Thank you to all the new subscribers and to all the people who are sharing this channel and sharing my crazy point of view. I love you all. I do. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your participation in this. If none of y'all showed up, it would just me talking to this camera, which I kind of sort of do anyway, but it is nice to know there are folks out there, and whether you agree with me or not, but my job here is to help get people to think about things. So what is this about the Snow White thing? It's more chaos. It's more, what is their platform? I absolutely agree. It's to turn everybody androgynous. Men would prefer to have sex with men, and they don't want. But but here's the interesting thing about that. I've known many gay men in my lifetime through theater and other things, and they like to dress up womanly, but they wouldn't, they wouldn't touch a woman. You know what I mean? But they want to dress like them. And I'm not opposed to it. I've known some really beautiful gay men who look very smart in their, in drag. But it doesn't mean that I was attracted to them or that I was going to sleep with them but I respected them and still do. Some of them are still alive. And I still respect them, because that's who they are. But they don't try to shove it on anybody. They don't wear a t-shirt that says, "Hey, I'm gay, look at me. I'm part of the gay community. Everybody accept me for who I am." No, they were not like that. And I gave them more respect than other folks because they weren't like that. There was a gentleman who was openly gay that worked for the Thomasville, Georgia Recreation Department for many years. He was in theater and did plays and stuff. He was absolutely a hoot, and his nickname was Cooter. And everybody loved Cooter one way or the other. And women weren't afraid to send their small children to recreation because Cooter was obviously gay. But because he separated, I wouldn't touch a child. I would protect the children. So when you knew who Cooter was, but he was a gay man that liked to dress and drag. So, but that was his afterlife. There are people who are dressing up and drag and saying, you should accept me right now who I am. Storytelling in the things, and look, I'm a gay man in drag, and ooh, he would have never done that because he would have felt that it was disrespectful to the children. After hours at home, if he wanted to dress up girly-ish, it was his right. It was his, and he did when he felt it necessary for himself. But this idea, though, that I'm going to dress up and drag and I'm going to tell stories to the children and you accept me as I am. The gay community that I've known over the years they would not agree with that. Okay. So whatever has changed, even within certain gay communities, they're appalled at some of this stuff too. I'm just saying. Okay. So we need to understand that. Hope to be in your reality a little later. I make it. Dominic, GNA, hit the guitar strings when I. Ian says everything being reversed up to 100 years ago: blue for women, red for men, and pale blue for girls, and pink for boys. Yep, it's all changed. And a friend of mine whose daughter is pregnant, or a cousin, or anyway, she was like, well, we have to get home for the naming party. And I was like, for what? Well, whether, they do the scan now and they can tell if it's a boy or a girl. And so they're going to have this coming out party. And I'm like, well, how many months is she getting ready to have? Oh, no, she's only 6 months. What? Well, yeah, and then we're going to have a baby shower for her. And then we're going to have this. So now that we have technology, now there's the coming out of male or female. But the interesting thing is they have these coming out parties of male or female. And then when they're born, they go, well, I don't know. My son seems to think he's a girl. So, I'm going to dress him up. So why have the naming? It's just all, a gizmo. But anyway, I love you all. Brandy says, I have friends from school that are gay. They know I'm going to be me. I know they're going to be them. Right. I'm the realest person. They know we're cool. I understand, Brandy. When I was around Cooter and some of the gay folks within the not just the theater crowd, but in theater, they knew. And one guy would always say, he was talking to me. He goes, I've always loved your ass. And he said, if you ever consider, I'd be willing. And he would, and he would wink at me and go, if you ever want to, come over, just let me know. And he'd wink. And I was like, women didn't wink at me. Women didn't make passes at me. So, but not to say that, but I took it as because he was a dear friend and I've known him for years and we'd been in many plays together. And a beautiful voice. Oh my God. And he sang in Atlanta and places in Georgia and other around. But anyway, but the idea that, he thought me cute. And that, hey, if you ever want to, just let me know. Okay. So, but anyway, and it was, at first I was a little appalled. Then I was like, that's a nice compliment because he's respected in the gay community. He's respected as a singer and as an actor and so forth. And, and he's got this little wink with me on the side. So I was like, versus being, sick because this gay man winked at me. I was like, thank you for the compliment. I don't get many compliments, and thank you. So, but with that said, but he was never outrageous. He never, none of these folks that I knew would ever try to insist the way the community, some of these communities are doing now. They would never, ever be a part of the gay pride parade kind of thing. They would feel that it was silly. And, I'm gay and I'm proud. Why do I have to have a parade? That was their exact words. I'm gay, I'm proud. Why do I need a parade? So anyway, but that's the old timers, and whatever's changing now is changing even within the community. So just saying, anyway, I send love out regardless of your preference of anything. Okay. If you like Pepsi over Coke, don't care. If you won't eat shellfish, it's okay. I got some shrimp in the freezer. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to cook with it. I think I'm going to make me a sort of a tomato saucy kind of thing with garlic and peppers and mushrooms anyway. But, we can't, each of us are not going to like everything that the other person does. And it's okay. But it's in our respect for each other. It's in honoring each other. And that goes from the other side. If somebody's saying, I'm gay and you're going to love me, you got to say, back off here. Sorry. Just be a person. All right. Don't care about your orientation. Don't care. I really don't. But can you show me who you truly are, who you really are, without having to wear a t-shirt, without having to be in a parade, without having to tout who you are and bang a drum all the time? Look at me. Because if that's your situation, then it ain't about being gay. You've got other issues about being accepted. That's the issue. Well, but I'm LGBTQ, I'm a transgender, I'm something, I don't even know what I am, but it's like, okay, it's all right. I still love you, but please stop trying to push your agenda into my world. I already love you, but if you're going to keep that up, I'm just going to go, okay, I love you, but I'm going to push you over here to the side and pull the curtain down. Don't want to look at you, I will still acknowledge you as a person, and whatever your belief is, even if it may be a little, I got to wear this t-shirt to get everybody's attention. So it isn't about the gay, but it is about whatever is lacking in their lives. We should look at that because they're missing something. If they have to jump up and down, anybody, and say, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. There's an issue there, Catch you all later. Thank you, Susie Q. Greetings, Este. Some just fell in love with their friend. Yep, I understand, Brandy. Good night and good morning and good afternoon, everybody. It's 7:08. Doggone, I've been on here for over an hour. I don't want to know what anybody is doing in their bedroom. Me neither. I really don't. But if we can meet on whatever open terms or whatever, we can share and be people together. And I don't care. And especially now, if you're doing it with somebody that you're tying up because they don't want to do it, might have an issue with that. But between two or three consenting adults, whatever shakes your boat, I don't have a problem with it. But how you react with the rest of us in the world is what matters, right? Do you still like people? Do you still do stuff? Are you still honorable? If three people want to jump in and get it on, okay, But at the same time, when they get out of the bed or get out of that mode, how do they treat the rest of the world? What is their philosophy? So that's what's more important as to what they do under the covers. But anyway, so before we go, let's smoke a quick bowl. I've loaded this up. It's almost 4:20 on the West Coast. So, but it's 4:20 somewhere. So I continue to pray each and every day as I'm closing this out. And I really do. And all of you new folks here, in my daily meditations, I just include everybody that shows up in the chat, um, es- especially, but also for the people who are subscribers that haven't participated in the chat. For those of you that are, that are listening, I still love you. I do. And you don't have to participate in the chat to be a participant in this idea of let's think about this. Let's just have the discussion. Let's think about what this is. And should it piss me off or should I get over, stay out of the chaos? Keep an eye on it. Let's have fun with it. This man boy love they've been labeled a sexual preference to the predators. Don't go to jail, snipes my ass. Yes, there were several priests who should have went to jail. And the Catholic Church never acknowledged it. They never apologized to me or to the at Most Holy Redeemer because, of Father, quote, Eugene McCarthy, who was, playing with my ass on the steps of the church during a funeral. Okay. I will never forget that. But and no one has ever apologized to Dave. You know what I mean? Oh, well, the Catholic Church, we're sorry for, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry. And it isn't about money, but it is about the apology, and the apology, that Father McCarthy went to different parishes. They had other priests that were pedophile. And I understand it even to some of the girls, so they were just sexual deviants in a religious role. That's just sad. So, but, I've learned that I have to forgive them in order for me to move on. I still don't like them. There's a part of me that says, I hope they got their just results and that they're burning in hell for what they did, not only to me, but to the other children. And even my brother had been subjected to this. I found out after many, many years after my coming out and speaking about it. He said, yeah, he got me too. And that's all he would say. And it's all he's ever said. But it makes you wonder why people close up and why they act the way they do. And it's just one of those things. And so there are many people with things that have happened that they are quiet about. And, to me, it is beyond sadness. Yeah, you always have to fight for freedom. It's not granted. Absolutely. Many hold high positions. Absolutely. One was a Monsignor. Okay. One of the priests was a Monsignor. And at Tampa Catholic, there was a priest. I think my brain is not. But anyway, he became a Monsignor after he may have still been at Tampa Catholic. But they arrested him in Tampa as a Monsignor, right? He's like in line for a bishop. He's a Monsignor. He's higher than just a normal priest. And he's picked up on Kennedy Avenue in Tampa, which at the time was renowned for its prostitutes and low life in certain areas. I think, Kennedy, actually it's Boulevard. But, he was arrested for, soliciting a gay man for sex on the street, and it was in the newspapers back in the day. And my mother was still, my adopted mother was still alive. And she sent me the clipping and she said, they got him because he was always so mean and nasty to me. And he was mean and nasty to my grandfather. And he loved to hold you and he would throw me up against the wall almost daily, and at Tampa Catholic, and he would get right in my face. And I've realized now that he was really getting off on it. And that's how he could get close to me, was to throw me up against the lockers and to get in my face and to press up against me. He was getting off on it, And after I graduated, my grandfather, he was, this priest was, I can't remember his name at the moment, but my grandparents, they went to the church that he was the pastor, and he used to pick on my grandfather after I graduated Tampa Catholic. It was unbelievable. It was the guy was obsessed with whatever it was he was obsessed with. I'm just saying. So, and he was a Monsignor, fixing to be a bishop of Tampa or St. Petersburg. So it isn't, and it isn't just about the Catholic Church. There are lots of other people like Brandy, social workers, teachers, judges, popes. Yeah. The truth needs no repair or amendments. I agree with you on that one, Dominic. You're not human, Steve. Okie doke. Only the corrupt get promotions. Yep. Up to a point. Yep. I absolutely agree. There are those few that slip by in the system. But anyway. So priests are just like politicians. The higher the rank, the worse the corruption. Yep. So, but anyway, so after an hour being here, and I'm gonna do one more smoke if you got them routine. I'll be on in a couple hours on Andromeda. For those of you, and don't come from my point, but Scotty's there, going to talk about the Nephilim, and so it should be interesting. Anyway, there were giants in those days. Let's just put it there. So. For all you folks, new and otherwise, my old timer friends that have been here for a while, I really mean this when I say it. I continue to pray each and every day for each and every one of you, for your friends, your family, and all of your relatives and relations, that you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. Every day that I put my feet on the ground, which is every day, many times, I always send out prayers to every single one of you, in that you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe, and the many gifts too. And in that law of three, and I got to run because I got to pee, is that I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept, receive, and to share the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings of the universe. And before I make a wet spot on the floor, I will see you all later. And TTFN from South Georgia. Keep it between the ditches, y'all. I love you. Stay safe. Cosmic hugs and cheers, everybody. Keep the faith.